The Swiss Family Robinson, Chapter 3, Coconuts and Monkeys. The roosters woke me at daybreak, and I then woke my wife. In the quiet interval before the boys were up, we discussed our situation.
Do you think any sailors reached land?
She asked me. I don't know, but we need to find out, I replied. We also need to learn more about this place where we're stranded. We decided that Fritz and I would start on an expedition after breakfast. My wife would remain near our landing place with the other boys. After packing up some food and water, Fritz and I set out. We walked upstream until we reached a waterfall. Then we crossed the stream using several large rocks as stepping stones. On the other side of the stream was a field of tall grass. We had just begun to force our way through the grass when we heard a rustling sound. Turning around, we saw the grass waving as if some animal were passing through. Fritz brought his gun to his shoulder.
Turk!
Cried Fritz, lowering his gun as the dog approached. It's a good thing you didn't fire, I said. The three of us headed toward the beach to search for any sign of the sailors. We pushed on until we came to a grove of trees stretching down to the water's edge. 1,000 brightly colored birds twittered in the branches above. As we gazed up at them, Fritz stumbled over a round object on the ground.
This must be a bird's nest,
he said. Every round, hairy thing is not a bird's nest, I laughed. This is a coconut, and it should be full of delicious liquid. We split the coconut open, but found that it had dried up. Moving on, we came to some trees with strange bumps on their trunks. Those are calabash trees, I said, recognizing them from travel books. The bumps are gourds. The natives make bowls, spoons, and bottles from gourds, and even cooking vessels.
That's impossible,
Fritz pointed out.
A gourd would burn if it were set on the fire.
The natives don't set the gourd on the fire, I replied. They cut it in two and hollow it out. Then they fill it with water and food. Next they add red-hot stones until the water boils and the food is done.
How clever,
said Fritz. We cut some gourds and left them to pick up on our way home. For 3 hours we kept walking. At last we came to a piece of land that stretched into the sea. From its rocky summit, I knew we could obtain a good view of the surrounding country. We reached the top with little difficulty. Before us stretched a wide and lovely bay, and the scene inland was no less beautiful. But both Fritz and I felt lonely as we realized we were the only people there. Cheer up, Fritz, I said. Remember that we chose a settler's life when we left Switzerland, although we didn't expect to be so utterly alone. We descended the hill and headed toward a clump of palm trees. But to reach them, we had to pass through a dense thicket of reeds. Fearing that we might encounter a snake, I broke off a reed for a weapon. I soon noticed liquid dripping from one end. When I tasted it, I realized the reeds were sugar canes. Fritz, we must cut some of these for Mother. We cut as many as we could carry and continued toward the palm trees. As we emerged from the sugarcane thicket, we spotted a troop of monkeys playing under the palm trees. They quickly climbed to the top of the trees. Monkeys are natural mimics, I said. Watch this. I gathered some stones and tossed them up toward the monkeys. They instantly seized all the coconuts within reach and tossed them down to us. Fritz was delighted with my trick and gathered up some of the finest coconuts. These were fresh, so I made some holes in the shells and we enjoyed the delicious liquid inside. Then I cut the coconuts in two and we ate the meat that lined their shells. It was now time to head home. We walked slowly with our load of sugar canes and coconuts. Turk bounded ahead of us and surprised another troop of monkeys playing on the ground. They all escaped except for a little one, who tried to hide in the grass. Fritz rushed to its rescue, flinging away all he was carrying and losing his hat in his haste. With one leap, the monkey was on his shoulders, holding tight to Fritz's thick, curly hair.
Help!
cried Fritz as he tried to pull the creature off.
Help me, Father!